Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the C-List Villains podcast. I'm your host, AJ. I'm here again with Luke, Red, and E-Man. And today, we've got a special guest, Chris Spencer from Wicked Gator Comics. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, doing wonderful, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, you know what? It is our honor for you to be our first guest. You know, hopefully you won't be the last, and hopefully you will continue being a guest of ours.
Absolutely. Probably a year from now, you'll have Donnie Cates on here. Who knows, you know?
Oh, yeah, right.
That's the dream. That's the dream right there.
Dream. It is the dream, yeah.
And we're on a first name basis with Donnie, too. Hey, Donnie was on the podcast last week.
He's tweeting about us, guys. He's tweeting about us.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you're the owner of Wicked Gator Comics, which is an online exclusive comic store, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, you know, we'd like to start off the interview asking you about how you got into comic collecting and what made you decide to open up an online store as opposed to a brick and mortar store. Could you give us a little insight on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like most kids in the early 90s reading Image, you know what I mean? Image was exploding at that time. Their foil covers, you know what I mean? It was just, you know, we were all into it at that time.
I'm still looking for my brigades number 3 through 7, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, I'd hit up the deli after school, grab a book off the spinner rack, you know what I mean? But then, of course, after you become an adult, I kind of gave it up for a while. About 5 years ago, I kind of got back into it. And then I started buying some collections from people just to have some books around and start reading them and everything. And then I found Facebook selling comic books on Facebook. I mean, I'm sure Luke remembers when I was brand new.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I started selling on Facebook, just buying collections and stuff, and it's kind of evolved from there. And I don't buy collections really much anymore. It's just because it's hard to find decent collections, you know, it really is, you know, at a price that's right for me. And so I had to expand and decide what I wanted to go into. I tried new books, but there's not a lot of money in new books unless you're moving hundreds of them. And so I found my niche with exclusives. I've always been a fan. And so right now I'm producing exclusives. So,
awesome. What made you go as far as just doing an online store as opposed to opening up a brick and mortar, like an actual physical store?
Well, where I live, there's 3 LCSs, and one of them's been open for about 25 years. And so they have about the whole city's business, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Plus, there's so much overhead with a brick and mortar, rent, electricity. You know, you got to have insurance and a bathroom for employees, you know, and stuff like that. So it just made sense that this day and age, everything's online where we can shop on our phones whenever we want to, you know?
Right.
So it just made sense for me just to be an online only web store with a website and then doing social media sales also. It just made a lot of sense for me money-wise.
Gotcha. Do you think that brick and mortars can still survive, or is the future of comic book shopping online stores?
I think the future is online, but there's no reason that brick and mortars can't survive, but they have to have an online presence. 2 of my LCSs that are local have no online presence. All that money that they're leaving out there is, I've offered one of them to help build their online presence, but they weren't hearing it.
Are they older gentlemen who are not willing to change with the times, I guess?
No, one of them's a middle-aged couple, and they have, of course, all the gaming and stuff in there and the comics, so they're more into the gaming sales and environment than the comics, really. I think so.
Chris, quick question for you. When you say it's super important for a lot of these stores, these brick and mortars, to have an online presence, like you guys are saying. Does this include eBay, or are we talking about having your own site where you can sell direct?
I would say having your own website is super beneficial. I have nothing against eBay. Having your own website, having that identity, you know what I mean? That identity to your shop, to me, is valuable.
That makes total sense.
But I mean, also eBay, you got 1 million people that can see your listing. I mean, there's so many people on eBay. It is an avenue also that you need to use that avenue. I don't even really sell a lot on eBay. I sell a little bit, but dude, it's probably like 2% of my sales. I mean, let's just be honest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not focused on eBay too much, but I put my exclusives on there. If someone wants to buy them, fine, I'm happy. But if not, I'm worried about my web store. So.
What about using Facebook as another avenue? If a lot of these brick and mortar stores don't know how to use eBay because of the payments and the options and how they do all that, using Facebook, direct selling, should that be another way without them having to create a website and hiring a webmaster and getting all these tech people involved?
Absolutely. If you're not on Facebook or Instagram, you need to wake up. I mean, you need to wake up. I mean, ask Luke. Ask Red. Red's been a customer of mine for a while. We met on Facebook. So if you own a brick and mortar store, you better have an online presence.
Yeah.
I can post stuff on Facebook and I'll see traffic on my web store, and I didn't even make a post about my web store.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's great to drive traffic to your web store. I do pay for some advertising also, so.
Now, as far as your web store, you mainly deal with, say, exclusive store variants for your website, correct?
Yes, but I am going to be offering new books.
Okay, like a pull list, like an online pull list?
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting into that. It's kind of a hard process to have a pull list on a website. It's pretty difficult. So I'm going through some stuff right now, trying to find the best way to offer it. That'll be coming very, very soon.
To follow up on that, is there a certain price points if you had an online pull list that you have to meet with any of the big three or even the independent titles in order for you to sell their books in your store?
I mean, obviously DC's on their own right now. So DC's a total different company. Besides that, I got to go through Diamond, and I have to have a Diamond account to order all the other publishers' books.
You know, I just wanted to ask you, how long have you had your online store? Like, how long have you had an online presence, the website?
Just over a year. I was doing mainly Facebook sales for a long time. I had a job, and I was doing it part-time. And then it just came to a point where I was making more money doing comic books than I was at my job.
I think that's everyone's dream here, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's great. I've made it a reality, and it was tough. I almost went out of business last year.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I really did. A lot of stuff that I learned about the business that a lot of people don't understand, like I was into buying collections, selling exclusives, selling new books. But I had to find that niche that I wanted to go into. Instead of having my hand in 4 different pots, I needed my hand in one thing and go hard at that one thing to make my name. And that's when I decided to do exclusives, and that's what I was going to do.
Can I get one in there?
Go ahead.
Did COVID hit your business at all?
No. A lot of these comic shops, and you can see it today, are doing better because of COVID. I mean, Luke, your sales didn't stall out, did they? Your sales are probably up, Luke.
Probably double, triple year over year.
The comic business didn't get hit. I grew. I've expanded, and you can see that today where all these exclusives are selling out in 30 seconds. Last year, Shannon Mayer books were hot, and that was it. Nothing else was selling out except for Shannon Mayer last year.
Well, maybe like a Del Otto book or something, maybe.
Yeah. a really hot book, but now it's everything. Every Venom title, every Thor title, anything Scorpion puts out. You know what I mean?
Now, I have a theory about the online sales. I do believe that the correlation between that and is because the access to going to a physical shop is very limited. We're going to look for other avenues. Do you think there's any sort of correlation to that?
Yeah, absolutely. With COVID hitting, everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah.
So we're all on Amazon. You know what I mean? We're all shopping at home. You know, so a definite correlation. It'll be interesting to see what the comic book industry deals with post-COVID, but the comic book industry is strong right now. I know some people have their doubts, and there's all these conspiracy theories. Sales are strong.
People are trying to find a way to entertain themselves at home without the need to go out. And honestly, the two industries that are thriving right now, it sounds, number one, it's comic book. And the next one is video games. The video game industry exploded this year because there's just nothing else to do. So it's one of those things where COVID's helping. It's a sad thing to say, but at the same time, it's helping out certain industries. People are staying in. They need something to do. So I can see why the industry's thriving at the moment. So congratulations to you comic book owners. It's working out for you.
And Chris, it is it's good to hear you put a positive spin on the physical collecting of comics. When you say that the industry is thriving, it's a good news for us because of technology and because of what we're seeing with movies and all these companies buying out DC, Marvel. We're always kind of worried, are they going to just forget about comics? It seems as though that's not the case. So that's a very positive thing for us to hear as collectors and readers.
Yeah, I know that, there's been a lot of talk about DC lately with the layoffs and that kind of stuff. But just think, someone would buy DC just for the comics. Some rich guy out there, or a rich, company would buy DC just for the comics, period.
That's true.
AT&T owns DC now, so AT&T would just sell off the comic book portion, and someone would buy it for a crap load of money. Let's just face it. There's still money there. You know what I mean? There's money there. Rona just hit the office administrative people hard. You know what I mean? So that's why they had to do layoffs. It wasn't because no customers for their books. There's a ton of customers for right now. Death Metal's selling off the chain. All 1,200 tie-ins for the book are selling strong. Am I wrong on that? But you're buying a death. You're all buying the 1,200 different Death Metal tie-ins right now. So
true.
Sales are strong on DC. It's just it hits administrative pretty hard. They have to have HR people, accounting people, stuff like that, to where Rona hit them pretty hard. So,
Gotcha.
They had to do some layoffs, let's just face it. But someone would buy DC. There's no doubt about it. Someone would buy DC just for the comic book.
So as readers and collectors, we always have questions about how those online exclusives operate. One of the things, we wanted to ask you was, how do you make the decision in regards to the artist that you choose to create a variant? Do you essentially ride the wave of, the hot artists right now? Do you try to get Peach, or do you try to get Crane, or do you try to find maybe an artist who is really good, but they just need that chance to show their work?
It depends on the book. Listen, if you have a female character book, Shannon Mayer is pretty good at female. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you would commission somebody like that to do a female book, but you wouldn't commission him to do, a Nightwing, or a Thor type title, because he mainly does female characters. The same with like Nathan Zerdy, Ryan Kincaid. They do mostly females. So if you want to do like a Venom cover, you can't pick one of them. You gotta make sure you go for an artist who can draw the type of art you want on the cover. And as far as riding the wave of the hot artists, I've tried to get Peach 3 times. I've tried 3 times, and I've failed 3 times.
Wow.
She is
Ooh.
she is slammed. She is booked. These companies got her on lockdown right now with covers, so I couldn't get her.
I believe she sign like some sort of exclusive deal with Boom to do like exclusive covers with them.
She's gonna be doing the main covers.
Okay, the main covers. Gotcha.
Yeah, which is where the money is at. So yeah. So, and as far as like the hot artists, Aaron Bartling's Last Ronin was the hottest Last Ronin book out there.
Right.
And so I went ahead and got him on a book. You know what I mean? So I want to ride that hot wave for that next hot artist. I believe every year there's one artist who's hot. Last year was Shannon Mayer. This year was Peach. Who is it going to be in 2021? The person who can figure that out is going to reap the rewards.
Right.
So I'm trying to find that hot artist for the next year. I do have Aaron Bartling on a book. Now I do have a guy who's very underrated who's doing some books for me, and I'm trying to promote him. And I have one guy who's brand spanking new coming pretty soon.
Can you reveal their names, or is it too soon?
It's too soon because it's Last Ronin #2, and that book's already been delayed twice.
No, like
Okay.
he's keeping us
You
on
know
the
what I
line.
mean?
Look
So-
at that.
So
Now
if-
we're looking at the
number-
end of October for Last Ronin.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Last Ronin
That's
looks like
frustrating.
October 25th or 28th.
Yeah, so I have #2 artwork done for 2 months now. It's been done by a brand new guy. His first cover, it's a banging cover. He did a great job, but now I got to shelf it until, October, November, because #2 ain't going to come out until December.
So you are always open to finding that hot artist before they blow up, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you got Peach before she blew up and you ended up doing a ton of books with her, you made a lot of money. Like I want to hop on that bandwagon. I want to find the next hot artist. And I talk to these artists, you develop a relationship with them, so they're more inclined to do more covers for you and stuff if they like you and you've done covers with them before.
So with all these shops selling out with all their exclusives, how is a variant selling out within seconds of it going online? There's a lot of, I guess you could say, conspiracy theories, things of that nature, online stores saying that there's a 500 print run of a cover and then it all of a sudden sells out, and then maybe a shop all of a sudden might have that same cover at a convention, things of that nature. Are those things that you can possibly speak about and give us some insight? Because everyone is always kind of concerned and questioning the motives of online stores and thinking that there's some sort of conspiracy that they're all hogging up the variants for themselves and waiting for the market the fair market.
Selling them out the back door.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they're doing? That's how they do this.
I was trying to not get so clear on that, but thank you, Luke, for just being blunt about it.
Well, we're not
think
naming anybody, and we never want to accuse anyone of anything. This is a conspiracy, and we want an expert to address that conspiracy.
Yeah, so the thing about it is, the first thing I'm going to do when I have an exclusive, I got to account for damages. So I'm not going to have the whole print run for sale, because the chances of that print run coming to me 100% and a 9.4 or above condition to sell to my customers is pretty rare. So I need to hold back some copies to account for that when my books arrive. So that's the first thing. So like my Last Ronin sold out, but I know when it arrives, I'll have some copies available. So people then might be like, man, you were sold out months ago. Now all of a sudden you got copies, blah, 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 blah. No, I have copies because the print run came in all right, and I held some back because of damages, and now I have a few more available. So that's one thing to account for. The other thing to account for is how many partners does that store have in that project? So right now, I have one partner store and I do stuff on my own. So some books I have to split with one person and some are all mine. So
Gotcha.
some of these big stores, they're partnering with 3, and there is a company that there's 4 of them that they split the whole print run. And so you got to account for that. And so each store has a certain allocation of books and has a certain percentage they're going to hold back for damages. So that's
Great
something
point.
that a lot of people don't consider that. Like, who is this store involved with? Well,
Yeah,
we
that's a
know,
great question.
we know, you know, some of them we see online. So we know some of them that are affiliated with the other ones, you know. So you kind of know that, but I know some people just don't take that into account. And they don't take into account damages that stores hold back.
Well, and
These
Chris,
books,
would you even say
you know,
that the phenomenon of store exclusives selling out within seconds is new to the industry? Would you say that's a new phenomenon?
yes, I would. I mean, when have you seen books? I mean, last year we seen some Shannon Mayer books sell out pretty quick, you know, but besides that, you know, Crane wasn't even selling out last year in 30 seconds. And maybe it was a week, you know, 3 or 4 days, a week. You know, so it's a
So you'd
new
want those
phenomenon.
the partner stores, then they're helpful because you don't want to sit on 4,000 copies. You want to distribute it to have everyone kind of help, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're splitting the price tag. You're splitting the print run. So one store is not taking the hit in case it's a flop,
Right.
you know? So that's why a lot of stores are partnering up so they don't take the fall in case it flops. They split the price tag. They split the print run. But selling out is a new phenomenon. That's only a phenomenon that I think COVID started because now you got all these people sitting at home also. They want books. And let's just face it, exclusive covers are better than main covers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And so,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
so people have time, they have money, they're buying exclusives.
Well, it's
Now-
the con money because we're not spending it at cons because we go to cons and buy
Yeah.
those exclusives.
Yeah. If there was cons this year, do you really think that Wolverine book would be a $150 book? I don't think so.
No.
That's
It was
very
that big because nobody can get it unless you went to Chicago. You know, so now you had to buy it from people who went to Chicago. If you weren't there, now you're paying out the yin yang. But, you know, that book, I don't think would be as worth as much money if New York happened, if San Diego happened, if MegaCon happened, you know. So I think that book benefited from Chicago being like the only big con of 2020.
Gotcha. And to add to that point, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I have actually been buying store exclusives for quite a few years, and I've never had issues buying
Ever.
online exclusives up until recently, to tell you the truth.
I bought every exclusive of a current online store. I'm not going to mention the name, but it was for 2 solid years. Every week I'd buy their exclusives. And June hit or COVID hit. I can't even get access to these books anymore. I emailed the owner too, and I said, "Can I get them?" He said, "Sorry, they're sold out." I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I think that's what
Yeah.
everyone's realizing now too.
Yeah, and there's so much demand for these books that they're just selling out so quick, and then everybody's mad. Well, I don't know what you want the stores to do about it. I mean,
Well, you can
They had
increase
us-
the print run, but then you're increasing your risk.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you're still making your money off the. If you sell out within 30 seconds, what? I mean, you just made a boatload of money in 30 seconds. Now let's move on to the next book.
Yeah, move on.
You know, you can't put all your eggs in one basket in the exclusive game. So you got to keep going, putting out books. I mean, I wish I could sell out in 30 seconds. Shit, everybody go to my website right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Go ahead.
Everyone right now listening, go to, what's your website?
Go ahead and
Chris?
plug your website right now, Chris.
Yeah.
Go
Give it
ahead.
a hard plug.
Hard plug.
WickedGatorComics.com.
Wicked Gator Comics.
There you
Everyone
go.
go buy an exclusive right now from Chris.
I
And
am going there right now to see what
Might I
Chris
add-
has.
Last week I had spoken about 7 Secrets, and he does have an store exclusive. So pick that up if you can.
Shh! Don't tell him that. Don't. No. Wait. No. I'm not gonna pick him up or anything. Chris, save some for me,
Yeah.
please.
You know, the funny thing is, I knew a Tom Taylor book would sell. I just knew it. And so I did an exclusive for it, and it's actually been the worst book that I've put out so far.
You know,
Sales
here's
have
my
been,
theory on
you
that.
know-
I don't think it was pushed as hard as it should have.
Yeah. Even my partner was like, you want to do what book? And I'm like, 7 Secrets. It's a Tom Taylor book. He's a hot writer, you know, very popular writer. And he's like, okay, we'll do it. Da, da, da. And now he just makes fun of me because sales have been pretty slow on it.
Well, even isn't Keanu attached to it too, with maybe a future project?
No,
Keanu
that's another book. Yeah, it's another book.
That's another book that is coming out October.
I think it's called
believe.
Berserk or something like that.
Oh, Berserker. Berserker. Okay.
Yeah. And so expect to see a lot of covers on that book, a lot. So
You know,
that book will fly. Yeah, go ahead.
speaking of the print runs, you know, we normally see the trade dress like around 3,000. Is that just the online stores are just concerned about having overstock, so they just keep it at 3,000 as opposed to bumping that up a little bit?
Yeah, I've never seen a store bump up their Marvel or DC print run. They usually just go with what they can order instead of bumping it up. Now,
Right.
usually on Independence is where they'll bump up the print run. Because like my 7 Secrets, we'll just say my 7 Secrets, the minimum print run for that was 500 from from Boom Studios. So
Right.
I got in at the minimum print run on that. I split it up between 2 different books, though. I created 350 of the regular cover and 150 of. It was going to be a New York Comic Con exclusive, but since that canceled, I turned it into a secret variant. You know, I had to do something with it.
Right.
So I had planned. I was hoping that COVID would be over and New York would happen because that's usually the last big con of the year. But that didn't happen, so I had to rearrange it. But so that had a 500 print run, but I split it up in between 2 books. Now, if I was a bigger store and selling more exclusives, I would bump up that print run to meet customer demand. And I think that's where some stores, when they do independent titles and they're a big store and they know they're going to sell a lot, I don't understand why they don't bump up that print run, drop that price a little bit,
Thank you.
still make it and still make a ton of money.
Thank you, Chris.
Still make a ton of money and satisfy the customer. I don't understand that. They're more worried about the aftermarket price than anything. I believe. I don't know for a fact.
Now, I wanted to ask you, you had stated that the more indie publishers, you can have a lower print run. Do you think that when online stores, they try to keep the lower print run because they see that the aftermarket value skyrockets, so that brings their online presence, like it gives them more clout, saying if you buy from them, the value of their books will go up? Is that something they think about?
They might think about it. I mean, some of your big stores don't really do independents.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those big stores stick to the big 2 publishers. There is, of course, one big store that does a lot of independent and the big two, and they command a lot of money for them.
Right.
But as far as that, I mean, you don't need a diamond account to do some of these smaller publishers. That's why a lot of people are doing them right now.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
And so, like a smaller title, like, I don't want to put names out there, I guess. We don't want to do that. But some of your smaller publishers that are indie books that no one's probably heard of or will hear of, they're going to have small print runs, and you don't need a diamond account. And so a lot of these, social media sellers, Facebook sellers will try to do an exclusive with it. But these are people who are not going to be in the business next year. They're going to do a couple and then be gone. You know what I mean? They're not serious. They're not in actual business. And so their books are going to not maintain any value. I don't think, I've only got one book that is going to have any value right now. Let's just be honest. The last Ronin book was hot. It was really good. It sold out really quick. But I have a ton of books coming. I got 10 books coming over the next 2 months. So I will have some books that are hot, you know what I mean, and demand more money on the secondary market, but not yet. Last Ronin might be, but since it's been delayed twice, it's really putting a hamper in the few copies I do have held back because of damages.
Right.
But I mean, I made my money on the book. I sold out. I achieved my goal. But I know that I'll get to that point to where even my small indie titles will start to become popular and might have some aftermarket value. And hey, that's good for whoever bought them. But I'm going to price them at my price point, and that's all I'm worried about. That's really all I'm worried about. I price it. So I don't know. So.
Okay, well that's a lot of great insight that you've provided as far as how a lot of these online stores work. I know that you had already said that sales are booming right now, but I wanted to ask you, almost as a final question, how do you feel about the future regarding digital comics? Is that something that you guys are, as an online store, is that a concern right now?
Good question.
It's not a concern of mine. My whole life of reading comic books is having a comic book in front of me. Sitting on the couch while the girl is watching her TV show, reading a comic book. Sitting in your bed at night, waiting to go to sleep, and maybe a comic book puts you to sleep. Going to the bath, you know what I mean? So to me, it's having a comic book in your hand, and that's all we know. And so I don't think digital, we have anything to worry about for a long time, for a while anyways. I really don't.
All right, awesome. That's again, great news for us collectors.
I think you really, I think you alleviated a lot of conspiracy theories that have gone out. Are there any other conspiracy theories, Chris, you've heard lately that you want to address and maybe put to rest for our listeners? Because a lot of our listeners are in a lot of these groups and these conspiracies about the store exclusive selling on seconds. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Well, I did see about this Peach Momoko speed metal 1 in 25. And I know a lot of people are mad because they're getting refunded on that book. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that an open order book and now it's a 1 in 25 book? That's the case, right?
Correct.
Okay, so a lot of people I hear are getting mad about that book because they got refunded for that book. Well, you paid $4 or $5 for the book, and now you want them to honor a 1 in 25. I don't know why you're mad about that. I don't understand why people are mad. I seen a post today, and I don't know why people are mad about that. Do you really think the store, how many 1 in 25s do you think the stores are going to have of that book?
Maybe 4 or 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, and they're not going to be selling them for $4 or $5. So they did the right thing by refunding your money instead of just taking your money and sending you the A cover that's totally different now. You know, because you paid for an A cover Peach Momoko that now turned into a 1 in 25 ratio. There's a new A cover, you know, so they did the right thing. They refunded your money because the book has changed. But I see a lot of people mad about that situation. And I've seen a post today that made me think of it, but I also seen a post like 2 days ago about it also, about people shouting out this store because of that. Well, they got to do what they got to do. They got to refund you the money because the book changed. They're doing the right thing. You know?
Right.
So I don't understand the argument of them people, but again, I wasn't going to get into them on the post about it and put my head in there because you know how them posts go.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just out there to vent.
I'm in a lot of those Facebook groups, but I never comment. I just read and move on. I'm like, come on, guys. Well, first of all, I don't even know how they have the time and day to go through all these arguments, but yeah.
Yeah. And so I really, you know, the moral of the story is I don't think there's as much conspiracy that people say there is. I think there's a lot of partner stores, you know, splitting the inventory. I think there's a lot of held back because of damages. And you know what? These are their store books. If they want to hold some back for the secondary market, guess what? They can do it.
Yes.
You know, and I understand people are mad, but hey, they produced these books. They commissioned the artist. They paid their invoice. You know, they paid for it. If they want to hold books back for the secondary market, that's on them.
I mean, technically, until somebody actually buys it, they own those books, right? They can do whatever they want to them.
Absolutely.
And I would think
never sell any of them.
Yeah, you know, I would think that a lot of these stores, online brick and mortars, they would order enough so that they could put some on the shelf or online and then sit on some for the secondary market, because in reality, that really is where the money's at. But you just have to make sure that you're getting, you know, a good return.
It's a smart business move.
Yeah, it is. You have to sit on at least. I would think. I'm under the assumption, and I've always thought this, a lot of stores, online brick and mortars, they hold on to at least 10 of a book that's possibly hot. You know,
maybe even 10%.
Or 10%. I was going to say too.
Yeah, 10% of the print run, probably. Absolutely.
You know, and then throw some online, and maybe, you know, for the owner of the store, maybe hold on to one or two for themselves, for their own personal collection. See what happens later on down the line.
I mean, it would suck if you're an online store and you don't even get a copy of your own variant. I mean, you've got to keep at least one copy for yourself.
I mean, Chris, please tell me, you at least hold on to one copy of your own store exclusives, right? For your own personal collection.
Absolutely. Last Ronin is sold out. Sold out fast for me. But I held 30 copies back for damages.
Oh.
So guess what? That book is sold out. It's been sold out. But when that book comes in, I got 30 to where if the print run looks good and I ain't got no damages, now I have 30 copies of a sold out book. That's somewhere where people have a problem with it at. Oh, that book was sold out 5 months ago. Now he's got 30 copies and selling them for $100. Guess what? I had to account for them damages. I had to account for enough books to fulfill my customers' orders. I'm not holding on to them for aftermarket value. Now, if the aftermarket value is high, I'm going to sell it for aftermarket prices.
Yeah,
why would I price it why would I price a $100 book at a $50 book just because, I feel bad selling it for $100 when I pre-sold it for $25? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so I'm going to have a couple of them extra left over when the books arrive. And
yes,
I can't imagine if someone puts up a post about me and my bad practices because now all of a sudden I got extra books of a sold out book.
But you would, you would think everybody does something like that, you know. I mean, you're putting something out there, and people probably are going to hear this and they're going to get a little upset, but it's true. All of these stores do it.
I feel is what you're saying is justified, and
Yeah.
if our listeners don't understand that, then they don't understand what you're doing is actually it benefits customers in the long run because let's say you have a print run of 1,000 and your general practice is maybe to hold 10% back due to damages, but another shop says, you know what, screw it, we're going to sell all 1,000. If that 10% is all damaged, that's 100 people who are pissed off at a damaged book.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
It's a
Yeah,
way
they're
bigger
pissed.
problem than conspiracy theories of shops not selling it or.
Now,
Yeah,
Chris, just
because
wondering.
then if the books come in damaged, then you got to refund people if you sold them all.
Get a refund.
What about
You know
if
what
the
I mean?
books
And
come damaged to you, Chris? Do you get a refund? Could you say, hey, look, these came damaged. I'm not paying for these, or you want a refund? Does that happen to these stores also?
Not on exclusives because they had to make a specific plate to print my book.
Okay.
You know, my book has a different cover. The insides are the same, but the cover they have to make a printing plate just for my book. Now, if the print run, if a majority of the print run is damaged, you can get your print run reprinted, but it has to be a bad print run for them to spend the money to print you a whole nother print run for free. I mean, look what happened. We've seen the double cover from a store exclusive that just happened recently.
Oh,
and
100
that
For the John
and
Boy,
that-
right?
John
yeah.
Boy.
Imagine that happening to you. Woo. You know, now of course they emergency, reprinted his print run, obviously, because they messed up. But it's just expected. It's just expected with these companies. You're gonna get damages. That's why I'm holding some back. You're gonna get damages. So you have to hold some back for damages. They're not going to reprint the whole print run because you got 20 damaged books.
Right.
They don't have 20 books sitting at the warehouse for you because they printed your print run by itself. I'm the only one getting that book. It's not like I ordered 500 of them. They printed 1,000 in case some are damaged. No. They had to create a whole plate for it, print it, and then ship it to me. They're done. It's
you get to keep that plate?
No.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
No.
Goes in a warehouse probably.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably going to get scrapped out for metal at some point.
Yeah, they
Somebody's
probably
sitting
reuse
unaware.
it. They have to reuse it, right?
Yeah.
Quick question: when you commission an artist, do you get to keep that original art?
Usually the artist will give you first choice to buy it.
Oh, okay. So even though you commission them to do a cover, you don't get to that part of the commission doesn't allow you to keep that original art.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So the artist is going to make money several different ways. The artist is going to make money by, you got to pay him to do the art. They're going to make money by selling that original art. And then I'm going to send them some books. I'm going to send them some comp books is what we call it in the industry. They're going to get some comps of the book on me as a thank you for doing that book. And that way they can do some remarks or signatures for people on their website at their con that they're going to maybe somewhere and stuff like that. That develops a good, friendship, business relationship with them because they need to be able to make money too. And so original artwork is a good way for them to make good money on it, especially if it's a hot book, like there's been some hot books lately that I imagine the original art's going for a lot of money.
That could be their rent payment for a few months.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One thing I also wanted to ask you, I guess it's specifically with that John Boy, when things like that occur, I saw online that some of those shops, they're supposed to either, I guess, destroy them or return them, if they decide to keep them, do they get any sort of, is there any sort of repercussion for that?
I'm not sure about that, but all those books went out to retailers. And so retailers got those books and they're the ones selling it. Those books didn't go out to, any of you guys. You guys ain't got a dime in the account. You guys didn't have, an order coming in.
Right.
And so a retailer got them books and decided to resell them. Straight up. That's the only way it could have happened. Those books went to retail stores or retail online stores, whatever. Those retailers ended up seeing what happened, realizing it was a mistake, and besides destroying them or sending back, they decided to put them on the aftermarket. Am I wrong or am I right? It's, and so there's more ethics in that than in the print run of an exclusive, I think. I would think, you know what I mean? That's definitely not your exclusive book. You knew who it was. Us retailers, we know exclusive book. I know everybody who put out a Venom exclusive. I know who they are. I know what company. We all know whose book that was. You got their book in. You realized it. You realized it was double cover. You did something shady. You put it online to make a ton of money. And he's waiting on his customers are now waiting on that book to be reprinted, and for like a month. I don't think until the end of next month it's due. I don't know. I seen him post something, but so
I thought I saw the owner state that he actually had to buy his own error cover, like from someone. Like he didn't even have copies of that error.
Yeah, he didn't even get one of them, and he had to buy one just to have it as like a souvenir of what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny that the store that paid for it and commissioned it didn't even get a single copy.
Yeah.
So a little crazy.
Well, thanks again, Chris, for giving us your time. We hope to hear from you again. Hopefully in about a year you've blown up and you've got more and more exclusives that you can come out here on the show and talk about.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm just getting started with this thing, so
go ahead and plug the show or plug your website one more time, Chris. What's the website so our listeners know? Just one more time.
Yeah, it's wickedgatorcomics.com. The good thing about it is you Google Wicked Gator, I come up. That's
it's
why
the
I
first
created
one.
the name.
It's the first one.
It's a unique name. wickedgatorcomics.com is the website. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Wicked Gator Comics, Facebook, Wicked Gator Comics. All my outlets are Wicked Gator Comics. It's a unique name, so you can find me there. Big stuff coming. Like I said, I got 10 books coming through October. Okay? So that's in the next 2 months. I'm going to have 10 books coming out. So I'm fitting to, these are some big name artists that I got coming up too, guys.
I went ahead and signed up for your website during the show, so I'm gonna be on your site a lot more often now, Chris.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
The artists that I'm dealing with they're gonna get better. Like I said, I got a new one coming, brand new, first cover. I got a guy I'm working with now that I think he's underrated, so I want to help him explode. But I got the big names coming. Trust me on that when I tell you I got the big boys are coming. And I have a DC book coming in November, and that's when I'm going to blow up because that's a big book. I can't announce it right now, you know what I mean? Anything, but, so that's going to be a big book for me.
I'm getting excited.
I'm hoping to grow big. I'm hoping to do big things. I'm hoping to do it right. Me and my partner, we have the right mindset, the right business model. We want to take care of our customers. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very honest guy. All you got to do is message me if you have a problem. I take care of everybody. I'm not like some of these customers, these companies that you can't get a hold of them.
Yep.
I mean, I get messages all day from people about stupid stuff. Hey, where's my tracking number for this book? Hey, why don't you try looking at PayPal? Just simple, basic stuff, but I still respond to them, So, but I know there will come a point where I'll get too big and, that won't be top priority. But if I'm that big, then I should have employees that they make it their top priority. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Right.
And another thing is shipping time. Let's just face it. That's a big issue with a lot of these companies right now too, is shipping time. You might order your book today. You might not get it for 2 weeks. And so that's something going forward that I'm really going to focus on is keeping my customer service, very high and keeping my shipping times low. We live in an Amazon world where people want their books tomorrow. They want to order them today and they want them tomorrow. And so all of us other online vendors have to, step up our game and try to match that. I mean, you do. There's no reason for not shipping books within a week of someone buying it. If I have employees, don't get me started. We can do that on the next show. Talk about that kind of stuff.
I like to confirm Chris's customer service here. He sent me my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 106, the Kyle Nagoo sketch cover. But he also said that my G.I. Joe number 275 is pushed back to December. So to make up for that pushback, he sent me 2 other free books.
Oh, nice.
See, he's trying to keep you as a customer. That's why, he wants to make sure that the red is happy, and I love it. Customer service, like you said there, Chris.
It's great customer service.
Chris, you're a one-man show, correct?
Yeah, I'm a one-man show. Well, my partner's we split exclusives. Right. That's not he's in my business. I own my business 100%. I'm the only employee. I have a partner that we split exclusives as far as price tag and print run, and that's it. And like Red said, that G.I. Joe book got pushed back also. That's another book that got pushed back. I mean, so I wanted to send him his book because that sketch cover had been sitting here, and I'm like, you know what? He's probably waiting on this book. Let me just send it out to him, and I'll eat the second shipping charge, Right. COVID's got everything messed up. What's $5 going to do to me right now? Keep a customer happy, and they'll come back and spend more than $5. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
Oh, I'll spend more money. Another $5.
Hey, look. Yeah. One step back for $5 step forward. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like refunding for books when people have a problem. They got a book in and the corner's bent on it. Hey, let me just refund them the total amount, and I'll catch them on the next book. Exactly. There's no reason to fight with it, delay it, do anything. Just solve the problem, move on. You kept the customer; he'll keep coming back. So, very basic stuff. But some of these stores don't do the basics, and so I want to be better than that as I get bigger. So. Focus on as I continue to grow, because as I continue to grow now, more problems evolve. I get busier, but I got to still focus on those things. So that's what I got going on. Like I said, guys, I got a lot of stuff coming, so keep an eye out. WickedGatorComics.com. We're doing big things. 2021 is going to be huge for us. We've already tripled in size from 2019, and I'm not going to stop. I just ain't going to stop. I want to make I want to make my mark in this industry, and I want to do it right. I want to do it right. So.
And we'll be here to support you, and hopefully, as you grow, we'll grow, and hopefully within the next couple of years, we'll both be at a level where we're happy and content as far as our successes.
I personally would like to be at a con with Chris, not near where I live. I like to be like at a New York or a Chicago Comic Con, just to say, hey, look, we got we got people that we know out there that need us. So it'd be nice to see Chris at a con.
When we have
and
our
push
panel NYCC, he'll be one of our first guests.
It's got to be like that's how it works. Chris has to be one of our first guests once we get out to one of these huge cons, you know. So I really, really appreciate you spending a lot of time with us tonight, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Again, that's Chris Spencer at Wicked Gator Comics. Okay, and for the last segment of our show, we always got to talk about the pickups of the week.
Yeah.
I'll go first only because I only picked up Batman. Again, another great issue for was it Joker War?
Joker War? Uh-huh.
Yeah. That is the only pickup I read. Another great read. It's kind of odd because I don't know where this is leading to. It's like all of Gotham is completely effed up. You kind of wonder like where's the rest of Justice League? They're not stepping in, but you know they probably just won't address that at all. But it's been a solid read. A couple more issues.
And here's my thing: no one's talking about Clown Hunter. Clown Hunter is getting no love. An awesome new character debuted in the last few issues, and he's getting absolutely no love. Is this a good book to buy for Clown Hunter specs?
Okay, so I picked up 10 copies of the last issue, 5 of each A and B. Here's my opinion on Clown Hunter. He's got an awesome debut. In this last issue, he killed a bunch of Joker's clowns. I think aesthetically, he looks like a goofball.
He does. He looks like a crazy Robin. I shouldn't say it like
Or
that.
is he the Casey Jones? Is he the Casey Jones of DC?
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Yeah, that's a really good comparison because he does seem like a younger Casey Jones.
Younger for sure.
I think maybe long term he could be a hit, but I mean he looks really weird with that mohawk hat thing that he's got going on.
Yeah,
so
he does.
I think they just got to change how he looks.
Yeah, it's no one's talking about him at all, and it's a new character, and people are talking about a lot of books right now, and nobody's talking about Clown Hunter.
Is it that the punchline is overshadowing?
But
100% she is. 100%.
But here's the thing: even with honestly, to me, Punchline hasn't really made a big punch in the comic book just yet. She's just a good-looking sidekick. I'm not gonna lie.
Or he. We don't know for sure.
What? Really?
No, it's a she.
It's a she.
It was a rumor.
It was a rumor. It was that kid.
The last 8 issues, we've had Punchline, we've had the Designer, we've had the Underbroker, we've had Clown Hunter, we've had 4 awesome new characters, 2 hero. I guess you could say they're mainly villains, but 1 kind of anti-hero. But only 1 is getting any love.
Designer, I don't think there's any future with that. I think the one that has lasting power is Underbroker.
I like the Underbroker as a villain. That's he's got
cool
a really cool
dude,
concept.
Right?
I like his mask. I like his style. I like his suit. I like what he brings to the table. I mean, he's a broker. He's a total underground villainous broker, and though he's not,
name is cool.
I mean, he's not I guess he's breaking rules, but he's not really getting his hands dirty. I like this guy. I like to see where he's going.
He's definitely getting his hands dirty.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's an underbroker. He's brokering like shady deals and crime and murder.
Yeah. But I mean, he's not doing the crime and he's not doing the murder. He's just like, hey, whatever they do with the guns, that's all on them.
He's just the middleman.
Exactly. He's just the middle. He's just trying to connect people. That's what he's connecting people.
This Batman 97, Jorge Jimenez absolutely killed the art, and Tamu Mori killed the colors. One of the most beautifully illustrated books in a long time.
Like I said last episode, I'm becoming a fan of Jorge Jimenez's work. I need to go back and look for his work. His like you said, Luke, it's just a beautifully drawn comic.
Read Batman 97 and just marvel at the art and the colors that Mori puts on there, because he is a magician with colors. But beautifully illustrated book. Do we want to jump into Thor 6?
Do
You guys can,
want
like I
to
said,
jump into Thor 6? It sounds a lot like
pre-
Luke wants to jump into Thor 6.
Spoiler alert! Put on your earmuffs.
I pre-ordered
Spoiler
it,
alert.
but I
Major,
do know about all the
major
spoilers.
spoilers coming up. Luke has this thing within him. He needs to speak about Thor 6. So if you haven't read Thor 6, you may want to skip this portion. And 3, 2, 1, Luke, Thor 6, go.
They killed Galactus at Black Winter. How could they do that?
What? Oh my god. Well, hold on. I don't think Black Winter's dead, but
Black Winter's
Galactus.
not
Exact
dead.
words is, before I cease to exist, I will show you your future death.
I think he's gonna be stuck. I think he's gonna come back around. Galactus is dead. That was crazy. And the power. The only thing I could think about with that part of the book was, why didn't Thor do that before? Why couldn't he take the cosmic powers from him before? Is it because he needed to be the Herald? He needed to be that strong to be able to take Galactus's power from him?
It was kind of like a chain event between Black Winter putting power. It was like a chain that then Thor used as a G-bomb, a Galactus bomb, into then destroying both Galactus
And the Black Winter.
and the Black Winter.
It was an
Okay.
intense book. It really was.
Here was Black Winter's exact quote. He says, "Your end, it cannot be stopped. It is coming before I am no more. Do you want to see how you will die?" And Thor says yes, which is interesting because I guess he could have said no.
Are you going to
and
spoil
then,
this too? Are you going to show that last panel? Are you going to...
You
Because
know
that
what?
last panel was like...
This will be released this weekend, and that's 72 out, 3 or 4 days. So that will then show Thanos with the Dark Gauntlet. So the Infinity Gauntlet is gone, and an Infinity Mjolnir.
That Mjolnir was crazy looking to me with the stones on it. And I was thinking, oh, Jesus, that's got to be the most powerful object in the whole universe.
That is now the most powerful object. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't think this is the end of Black Winter or Galactus. I think obviously the Infinity Mjolnir will play into Black Winter's probably return somehow. I don't think he can be killed personally. I think he can just be dissipated back into his own universe, and then he can come back, because you can't kill a Winter.
Even Donny Cates had, I think he stated in the letters page, he's gone for now or something like that.
For now.
I mean, and Galactus, they're not going to kill Galactus off for good.
But the way he went out with the God Bomb, I think that's what they called it, the God Bomb. He destroyed the Black Winter and Galactus. You know what? I really did like the design of the Black Winter myself. It was a dark version of Thor with celestial power.
We don't know if that's exactly Black Winter, though.
No. But the way they portrayed him.
Oh, the way they portrayed him.
Yeah,
correct.
the way they showed it was a lot like, hey, look, if I'm gonna be this being, I'm gonna go ahead and mirror you as an evil being of yourself, and I want you to look
and
me
that's
in the
where
eye.
a good
And that's what I liked about that.
A great spec to pick up is Thor 5 third print, first cover appearance of Black Winter.
Black Winter. Okay.
So go out there and pick up your. I think it might.
It's already hitting $30 though.
I don't want to lose out on another third print. I'm still kicking myself in the ass whenever you asked us for that Venom third print. I hate myself, and every time I see that, I get mad, and I get mad at you, AJ, even though it's not your fault. I should have picked up a couple of those Venom 3 third prints with Noel on the cover.
I told you, did you guys want any?
I know. Look, I can't be mad at anyone but me and you, and I'm mad at you for even asking me. That's why, okay? I'm mad at you for bringing it up to me. That you shouldn't have.
It's definitely going to be a big book. I think Black Winter is probably. They're probably going to leave him for a while, and then just like Venom, they're going to probably come back maybe 20 issues from now, and then everyone's going to have forgotten about him because it'll be 2022.
Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden,
be like, oh shoot, Thor 5! I forgot about it. Everyone buy Thor 5, $200. Thor 5 third print.
Luke, thank you. I'm jumping on the Thor bandwagon, not for the collector part, but just for that story. I truly
story is
enjoyed.
brilliant.
It was great.
Brilliant story. Everyone's loving it. It's this year's Immortal Hulk. Last year, Immortal Hulk books were selling for $30, $40, $50 a piece. Back issues were selling for $30, $40 a piece. And so that's what this year's big storyline is going to be. So get those Thor issues. It'll probably stay strong through issue 10, then it'll start slacking off and then pick back up.
Like in the 20s or 30s.
In the 20s, probably, or 30s, yeah.
So, yeah, I ended up picking up a Thor 6 today. I was... My LCS was like only one per person, and the guy who runs the store was like, "Oh man, don't even worry about it. I got you." I put one of the variants in it, so I was able to get the Scroce variant. Scroce.
Oh, nice. The was it the secret variant?
Yeah, the secret one. Yeah. So I was able to get that one at cover. So he hooked me up. I finally picked up my hardcover of, and I talked about it last week, was Big Girls #1. I think it came out this week.
There's the hardcover for that?
No. I didn't say hard. I'm sorry. I didn't mean hardcover. The regular cover of Big Girls #1. Well, last week I mentioned that I picked up a peach, I believe a peach version, but I picked up the regular cover so I could actually read it. So Big Girls, I'm going to stick with it. It's from Image.
First arc?
First arc, yeah.
Yeah.
Stick with the first arc. I picked up Maestro, covers A and B. I just like the Dale Kilwin cover on that one.
Oh man, great covers on those, and people are starting to talk a lot of good stuff about that storyline.
Picked up Gideon Falls #24. I haven't read. I stopped reading around 16 or 17, but I'm gonna go back and read it. Red just picked up 17 through 22 for me. So I got to go back and read that. I was really liking the storyline. I want to continue that on.
It's. I believe it's ending pretty soon, and the last issue is going to be about 80 pages. So
okay, good. Oh, good to know. Once in Future #10, I picked that up because I thought it ended at 6, and I found out that there was a 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm gonna keep going with Once in Future, and then I have Nightwing 73 waiting for me just because it's a part of the whole Joker War arc. So those were my pickups of this week.
Those are some great pickups.
Thank you. What about you, Red? Did you pick up anything this week other than
Gideon Falls? No. I ended up talking to my LCS guy for a couple hours about other stuff, and another customer came in and he started talking about, asking when's the next convention, after COVID, and how he's throwing a party for Elvira if he pays for her to come to Stockton. It was a whole bunch of chit chat there, and then eventually I got invited to one of his parties. So that'll be next year.
That'd be dope.
I think I'm able to invite you guys too.
That'd be dope.
Awesome.
What about you, Luke? Any pickups?
Just Thor 6, Batman 97, some reprints. Venom 26 second print came out. Venom 25 third print, which is cool.
Oh, I picked those up too. I was like, third print of something, I'm getting that because I'm not missing out on another third print, like I said.
So I went to a shop. I went to all the way into downtown Portland, which no one goes to right now. And there's a comic shop in the heart of downtown that keeps their doors locked all the time. You have to bang on their door and someone comes. They had crazy issues still in stock. So I got a Strange Academy #2 first print. I got some back issues. Yeah, for cover price. I got some back issues of Thor. I got some back issues of Batman. It was like, and I wasn't greedy either. I just took one of each, and I thought of being greedy, and I held back. I just one of each.
I would think two of each is one of those things where you're like, that's okay. Two is okay.
Well, if no one knows they're open, you can always go back and get another set.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know
Literally, what? They have plywood on all their windows. Their doors are locked, and there's a sign that says just bang on the door. And so I did it. This nice lady let me in, and I bought like 6 comics for cover price.
Oh, that's
like
beautiful.
$10 to $20 comics. It was awesome.
That's beautiful. Also, AJ, because of your recommendation from last week, I picked up Seven Secrets, just to cover A, just to see what it's about. And I do see what you're talking about with. It's
right?
from the point of view of a child, just like Saga. So that's total action. I really like that book. It felt like an American manga, so to say. It was very animated, bright. It was quick. It was in your face. I liked that book. I think I'm gonna jump on that one too.
Yeah, I think I think I'm gonna stop Something's Killing the Children after this arc, and then read up on keep reading Seven Secrets, and then see where that goes from there.
Yeah, I want to see how that one goes, because also one of those books where it's like, oh shit, this week was full of oh shit with Thor, with Seven Secrets, with
Venom.
Yes, Venom. Like, oh shit, what? Oh my god. So yes, this is a good oh shit week, you guys.
Speaking of oh shit and speaking of manga, now I'm gonna do a spoiler alert for all you My Hero Academia manga readers. Someone died this week.
No, don't tell me.
You don't want me to tell you?
Don't tell.
Hey, it's only fair I say it
You already said
spoil
spoiler
all
alert.
our listeners.
Oh god.
All right. R.I.P. Gran Torino.
Oh shit. Okay, don't say anymore. They can just have to wait for the TV show on that one. Oh, that one's gonna hurt. Yeah. That one's gonna hurt a lot. Oh,
it's not gonna be for a while. Gonna be for a while.
I know.
But what's his name? Shigaraki.
And
he's a fucking beast right now.
Oh god. And what's cool about the TV show is that it stays almost true to the manga, which is good. So for the manga fans and for the anime fans, it's pretty much the same. So Luke, do we have any giveaways this week?
Yes, we have two really good giveaways for people who cannot make it out to shops, or for people who want to bulk up their collection. I have got the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day 2020 and the Power Rangers #1 Free Comic Book Day, and these books are heating up. Message us on C-List Villains Instagram or clistvillains@gmail.com for your chance to win.
So make sure you guys contact us, and hopefully we'll get a winner this week.
These are big books. Oh my god! If you guys don't take them, I will find a way to take them. Luke, is there a way for me to get it?
Employees are not eligible, man. You should know better than anybody.
No, employees of the C-List Villains podcast are not
disqualified.
All right. For our listeners,
thanks again,
there.
Listeners.
All right, before we go, plug Nelly Blackham for link that's posted on their site, JN Basements. You'll find them on Facebook here. They also do comic sales. So thanks to Nelly.
Thank you, Nelly. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nelly.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the C-List Villains Podcast, your cultivators of the comic culture. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Spotify. All you gotta do is search for C-List Villains. If you want to send us an email, you can contact us at clistvillains@gmail.com. Make sure you follow Luke Weeks on Facebook and Instagram, and join his Facebook group, Rare Keys and First Appearance Comics. I'm your host, AJ, and you can find me on Instagram, AJ the Comic Collector. Thanks, and have a good night.